Life is hectic, demanding, and doesn't stop. When honest with ourselves, we must confess we often don't know what the hell we're doing. The Larkcast is an ongoing conversation about the inclusive and mischievous nature of God's presence through the lens of all the things that make up this phenomenon we refer to as life. Astonishing grace and refreshing honesty collide right here for your weekly encouragement. Welcome to the Larkcast, my friends. Yes, welcome to the Larkcast. 200 proof grace. Drunk straight. No chaser. Yeah, that's sort of the heartbeat of this thing. Or sometimes, as I refer to it, as an ongoing, open-ended conversation about the life of faith and the God of grace, and where that grace seems to be showing up in all the craziness, right, that we call life. Yeah. That's the heartbeat of this thing. And today I'm traveling alone. Tony is out with work, be back next week. Also, Miss Sarah will be joining us again here in the very near future. And we've got some guests coming to the Larkcast. So some exciting things to stay tuned for. And this week, I'm just going to just go ahead and just dive right in with a question that it keeps surfacing, I would say, in my own life, a question that I keep even hearing from others, especially in all the travel here recently. I've been on the road 4 of the last 5 weeks. Have you ever felt like the more responsible you come, the less alive you feel? Yeah. Like adulthood slowly traded wonder for weight. I can't laugh. Every time I say it, I have to laugh. Like it's just going to come out because, like, I guess there's some element of humor within the tragedy of that. But yeah, there's a kind of seriousness with life that feels responsible, right? Like grown up, productive, important. It's the kind that makes you sit up straighter, answer emails faster, right? Take on more, carry more. And then there's another kind of seriousness, the kind that slowly squeezes the joy out of your ribs. Yeah. I flew into that kind recently. Yeah. Yeah, I know I've mentioned this once on the podcast already here recently, but I've taken on a second job, a part-time job on top of Lark, traveling the country, training boiler operators. Okay. So real responsibility, okay? Weighty meetings, expectations. And I flew straight into a winter storm. Yeah. Yeah. By the time I landed, the city had shut down. Okay. Restaurants closed, roads closed, even McDonald's. Yeah. Yeah. It's biblical when McDonald's shuts down. Right. I checked into a hotel that was almost entirely empty. Just me and one employee, an older Russian woman working the front desk. Yeah, that was it. That was it. 2 humans, a storm, and fluorescent lighting. Gotta love it, right? The hotel restaurant, like all the restaurants around me, was closed, right? Kitchen dark, no food, no food. She asked if I'd eaten, and it had been a long day of travel, a couple different flights, and I hadn't. She disappeared. Yeah. Yeah. A few minutes later, she came back holding a foil wrapped breakfast burrito. She smiled and said, "I work counter, not kitchen." Then she shrugged, "But I figure it out. I figure out." Yeah, like that's just what you do when someone's hungry, right? And we ended up sitting at this little lobby bar, me enjoying this burrito that she fixed for me, snow pushing against the windows, a mounted TV playing up on above the bar, reruns of Two and a Half Men. Yeah. Yeah, not exactly high liturgy. But we talked. Yeah. We did about kids, about leaving home, about Russia, about America, about work, um, about aging. Yeah. No networking, no posturing, no brand building, no mission statements. Yeah. Just laughter, right? Just presence. I didn't see it while it was happening. It was afterward when the meetings that week had faded that a few things about grace started coming into focus. The first one, grace shrinks the world in in the best way. Yeah. Yeah. Big storms shut everything down. No options, no agenda, no hustle. Suddenly the important, right? The important world gets gets very small. And grace often arrives there. Yeah, not when we're building something, not when we're expanding something, but not when we're performing. Yeah, yeah. But when we're stuck, when we're stuck. It made me think about this line from Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. Yeah. Yeah, that psalm, by the way, it was written in the middle of chaos. Yeah. Mountains shaking, waters roaring, right? It's it's not written on a beach. It's written in a storm. And the command there isn't build more. It's not fix what's going on. It's not prove your worth. It's be still. Be still. Storms, I remember thinking about this on the plane. Storms shrink the world. And sometimes that shrinking is mercy. Yeah. It's not laziness. It's the freedom to be present. And most of us don't discover presence until the options are removed. That's been my that's been my experience. My second thought that hit me was grace is improvised. It's not scheduled. Yeah, the restaurant, as I mentioned, it was closed, but hospitality wasn't. Yeah, systems shut down, but the thing that I found myself laughing at is people don't have to. People don't have to. It yeah, there's something. I just got to say this, and maybe there's some irony in it. And I'm not trying to be cute with it, as I was trained to do in seminary and preaching sermons. But the reality is, there's just something deeply theological about an older Russian woman ignoring procedure to make a stranded man a burrito. There just is. And it's because grace doesn't wait for official permission. It just finds a way. It figures it out. In Mark chapter 2, verse 27, Jesus once said that, the Sabbath was made for man. It was made for man, as in like for our good, for our joy, not man for the Sabbath. Yeah. Yeah. This whole taking a break and learning to trust that God is actually who he says he is, that's a gift that was given for us. It exists for us. We don't exist for it. In other words, systems exist to serve people. And when systems start suffocating people, grace quietly steps around them. Yeah. Yeah. The kitchen was technically closed, but love wasn't. And grace rarely shows up through official channels. At least that's been my experience. Yeah. Yeah. It shows up through someone, I guess you could say, is willing to bend the rules so another human can eat. It's not rebellion, it's the kingdom. In seeing that, a third aha hit me like a brick while I was on that flight home. And it's that seriousness is not the same as importance. Seriousness is not the same as importance. Okay. I was serious that week, responsible, focused, forward looking. But what stuck, right? Like what remained? What was I thinking about? What am I still thinking about? Not the meetings, not the expectations, not the travel stress, a burrito, a laugh, a conversation with a new friend while kicking back with Two and a Half Men reruns playing in the background. Yeah. Yeah. It made me think about these words from Jesus. You can find them in Matthew 6. I think it's like, it's 34, verse 35. He says, "Do not worry about tomorrow. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Yeah, it's a moment where Jesus isn't dismissing responsibility, to be clear. Okay. He's just dethroning it. And there's a difference. Okay. Because work is good, it's valuable. In other words, work isn't bad, but it's not ultimate. Okay. It's not ultimate. When securing your future becomes ultimate, you lose the present. And grace has a way of revealing what ultimately matters by interrupting what we think matters. Yeah. Yeah. The storm canceled everything urgent. It did. It canceled everything urgent. And in doing so, it revealed something more so, I guess you could say. Yeah. Yeah. I came to secure something that week. I left remembering something. And that shift is subtle, and yet it's everything. Yeah. Yeah. Because once seriousness lost its throne, um, at least that week, I began to notice what the storm actually stripped away. And this was, I guess you could say, my final little like aha in that week. And it's storms remove the performance layer that seems to cover everything uh, in life. Not all at once, um, not dramatically, gently. Yeah. Yeah, there was no other guests, right? No audience, no optics, no curated moment, just two humans in a quiet building with snow outside. And that's table of grace stuff that we've been talking about a lot here, right? That's the church Jesus started without trying to be a church, um, like people have gone on and done in his name. Shared food, shared laughter, shared humanity. I didn't host that. I received it. And if I'm honest, that's harder for serious people. Yeah. In First Peter chapter 4, he writes, above all, and I love this, like above all the insights and understandings and knowledge, and above all, love each other deeply. Offer hospitality to one another without grumbling. Hospitality without grumbling. Not hospitality as strategy, as I began to learn it as and teach it as, not hospitality as platform, right? So we have this thing that we can point to and capture everything around it, raise money under its banner. Yeah. Not hospitality as content. Okay. Just love. Storms strip the performance layer off us. No one to impress, no momentum to gain or maintain. Just love. That's where grace feels lighter, right? Yeah. Yeah. I arrived carrying seriousness and I left remembering lightness. And that, damn it, that might be the lark of it all. That really might be the lark of it all. Now, That stated, those insights I sort of jotted down and found helpful. Hopefully, you found them helpful. Um, when all that started to settle in, I did what I've been doing lately when I'm trying to understand something. I wrote a parable. Yeah. It's become a little bit of a habit for me lately. When something lingers, I try to tell it sideways. So I wrote one about that night. I call it the parable of the serious traveler. If you'd like to read this versus listen to it, you can find it under resources at larksite.com. Just click that tab, you'll see it. Uh, it goes like this: The kingdom of God is like a serious traveler who flew into a winter storm on important business. He had taken on a second job, new responsibility, new weight. The kind of opportunity that makes you sit up straighter in your seat and rehearse your answers before anyone asks the questions. By the time he landed, the storm had swallowed the town. The roads closed, the restaurants closed, even the golden arches down the street went dark. He checked into an empty hotel, carrying more than his suitcase. There was one other person in the building that night, an older woman from Russia working the front desk. The restaurant was closed, but when she learned he hadn't eaten, she disappeared into the dark kitchen and reemerged with a breakfast burrito wrapped in foil. I figured it out, she said, as if grace was something you could improvise. They sat at the small bar in the lobby beneath a mounted television playing reruns no one needed to take seriously. Snow pressed against the glass. The world outside felt paused. They talked about children, about where they were from, about why people leave home and why they don't. No one was networking. No one was proving themselves. No one was advancing anything. The traveler had come to town to secure his future. Instead, he found himself laughing. The storm had canceled everything important, and in doing so, it revealed something more so. He would later struggle to remember the details of the meetings that brought him there. The talking points blurred, the seriousness faded, but he would remember the foil cracking open, the way she said, I figured it out, the way the lobby, built for dozens, felt warm with just two. The kingdom of God, it turns out, is not like the plans we make to secure ourselves. It's like a storm that shuts down the urgent so we can taste what is real. It's like a closed kitchen that still finds a way to feed someone. It's like laughter in a quiet lobby when nothing productive is happening. The serious traveler thought he had come to accomplish something. But that night, in the stillness, he discovered what he most needed could not be scheduled, earned, or advanced. Blessed are the ones whose storms interrupt their seriousness long enough to let them be human again. Man, sorry. Wow. Ah, yeah. The parable of the serious traveler. When I wrote that, um, I wasn't trying to make a point. You know, I was trying to name something that I couldn't quite explain. Yeah. Something about how easily I default to pressure. Something about how quickly seriousness takes over in life. I'm still learning this, but maybe faith isn't the pressure of responsibility. Maybe it's the freedom to enjoy what's already here. Maybe the kingdom of God, right, looks less like securing your future and more like unwrapping a foil burrito in a snowed in lobby. And maybe, just maybe. Grace doesn't arrive when everything is running smoothly, but when the world shrinks small enough for us to notice the beautiful things that are right in front of us. Yeah. Yeah. So cheers to grace, my friends. And cheers to tables where that grace can be found through honest, open-ended conversations and laughter. If that's you and your desire is to not just know about this and to learn about this or to find even relief in it, but maybe even to step into the journey of passing that relief on to others, go to larkside.com. Click on start a table. There's a short little pathway there with some resources I believe you would find helpful in that endeavor. And on a serious note, reach out to us. We'd love to chat with you. We'd love to help you think through it, step into it. Even love to hop on a plane and come hang out with you as you open up your own home for others. We do it. We actually do that. It's my favorite part of the job. So reach out, seriously. Russ at larksite.com if you like to chat. And again, larksite.com for that simple little pathway for starting a table. So until next time, my friends, until next time, cheers.